Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. Pat Gray joins us, and I'm also surrounded by puppets because this is an amazing audience. I just want to, if you happen to be watching us on Blaze TV, let me just share some of these puppets that are behind me, and I feel awkward because they're staring at me. This comes from Andrew Olson, and he said, Glenn, I dropped all other work projects. I took 2 days off from my job, and for the past 48 hours, I've worked building these 4 puppets: Trump, Chris Christie, Mike Pence, and DeSantis. I wish I had time to build all 8, but I'm going on vacation, so I could only spend 2 days. And they are amazing puppets.
Yeah, like those are like professional puppeteer type puppets.
And then I got this one in from Valerie. Valerie Perkins. She said, I'm one of the grandmas you mentioned that can make anything out of anything. She said, I only had time to make 1 puppet. Now, remember, we asked, I think, on Tuesday for puppets. This woman knitted Donald Trump.
That's really good.
That is amazing.
Incredible.
I got these in, which are amazing. This is from a woman named Sally Sawyer, I think. Yeah, Sally. She's an amazing artist. But look at these. These are bagged puppets.
Oh, wow.
That's Chris Christie. I'm not sure who that one.
Barack Obama?
It might be. Here's Nikki Haley.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Vivek or
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Tim Scott, maybe. Mike Pence, clearly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Look at Vivek.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, there you go.
That's a nice suit.
This is Tim Scott. And
That's
then
good.
Yeah, and then this one is good. This is Mike Pence. Dear Glenn Beck, my mom listens to you every morning. I heard about your presidential puppet need. I wanted to send mine. Here's Mike Pence from Barrett in Big Timber, Montana.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Jesus loves me.
That's great.
Wow. And there's so many more, but we can get into it later. What was the big thing that stood out to you last night, Pat?
Couple of things stood out. Nikki Haley sucks. And so does Mike Pence. Not a fan of either one of them. They're still enmeshed in warmongering. I don't understand it. Have you guys not progressed at all to say, okay, we've been at war long enough, and we've been in enough places around the world, and we've policed the planet long enough. Let's stop.
And it doesn't really work.
It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work.
We've tried it that way for about 150 years, and it's not working. Well, we can do it all. We can have the border and fight Canada and Mexico if we want to. We're going to start something in the Congo, and we can definitely fight for Ukraine. Let them fight their own battles. Let them fight. And
well, I mean, we could do a lot and still fight Canada. That one I do agree with.
You're right.
That one we
support that.
Canada.
that is that's a good point.
Because it's not a terrible line that Pence brings up from a line perspective. He's like, we're the greatest country in the world. We should be able to do more than one thing. You have a bad view of our country if you say
hated
that. First of all, he said it at the Iowa thing. We'd already heard it, but it's the exact same line. But secondly, actually, our country can't do either of the things one at a time.
No.
We can't do any of these things. We can't do the most basic thing in the world that a government's supposed to do.
And we're sending them money we don't have.
Yeah.
And I thought he also sounded really out of touch when he was going up against Ramaswamy, who was like, look, we are having bad times in America, and we've got to recognize that we're not the America we once were, and we have to soul search and rediscover who we are.
Yeah, he said it's not morning in America.
Yeah.
And while I get what he's going for there, it felt a little shocking to hear that. I mean,
but
it's true.
It's true. Everybody knows it.
Every day.
Mike Pence was just like, oh, you're saying the American people are bad? No, that's not what he said.
No.
It's not what he said.
I will say, though, and this is the thing I did appreciate about the debate last night.
Yeah.
That what you're talking about, Pat, is a serious policy difference in the party. And it's good that they talk those things out.
Yeah,
that was actually some substance, some sort of depth
Yeah.
One person who really thinks this is good, one person who really thinks this is bad, let them argue it out. That's how this is supposed to work.
Okay, so let's reenact, because Fox will not, this first time in my career, I've done this 45 years, I think, something like that.
It's a long
and
time.
every 4 years, this broadcast usually has somebody that has been up all night pulling all the clips. We're not pulling any clips because we can't. And you'll see it on TV. Fox has hidden this debate. CNN is not really playing any clips. CNBC, MSNBC, no one is playing clips because Fox they're saying, we'll sue you.
3 minutes total.
Why would you do that?
And I know.
It can't be in your archives.
Right.
So
after a week, you can't play it ever again.
Right. So any show that
post a
played a
show,
single clip,
you have to delete that part of the show.
yeah, it's impossible.
And most executives in media are just saying, okay, they're crazy. 0 minutes. Don't do any of it.
Right.
And I quickly, as you're putting your puppets on, I would just point out too. Can we spread the blame a little bit for this? Yes, Fox deserves the blame for not spreading these around. I'm not taking any blame away from them per se, but I want to add additional blame here to the RNC for allowing this.
You're right.
Next time you go to Fox, you say you don't get this debate unless people get to see our damn candidates.
Yeah.
What was the whole point of this? To introduce these people to America. And I understand why Fox wants to steal it all for themselves so that they can have this, it's going to be an exclusive and no one else gets to see it. I get that from a self-interest point at some level. But that's not the self-interest of the RNC.
No, here's what you do. What we did when we did the summit, we had the summit. It went all day.
Yeah.
It was behind the paywall all day, but you could
paid for the broadcast.
We paid for the broadcast, and everything else could be taken. So you saw that, even if you didn't see our broadcast, you saw those clips everywhere.
And why not? It's only good for you.
I know.
It's good for Fox for us to play the clips. Hey, here's what happened in the debate on Fox last night.
It is hard to take you seriously with a pink puppet on your hand.
Oh, you like my Nikki Haley puppet?
Haley puppet.
Yeah. War. If you love Vladimir Putin so much, why don't you marry him?
You could tell it's Nikki Haley because it's the only feminine pink puppet,
right.
Which she, by the way, made sure she pointed out to us over and over and over. We got that you're a woman. We can see it. I know half of the country can't notice the differences.
Excuse me.
How contrived was that line?
I hate that.
How contrived was she?
What?
Should they be preparing that for a month and sneak this in when you can?
Yeah.
That if you want to talk about something, you ask a man. If you want something done,
you ask
a woman like me.
All right.
Even though I'm a rhino and a warmonger.
What is the audience you're playing to with that line?
I don't know.
Maybe if you're in the general election, but you think it's going to win people over. But what? This is a party that's completely aligned against identity politics. And you come out and your big point is I've got a girly part. What is that? I don't understand that at all. I don't have anything against Nikki Haley. I just don't understand that.
I didn't
approach.
either until last night. Now I do.
She is
now I do.
Out
Hold
of
on
line.
just a second. I need to add something to the constitution of our program, Sarah. If you'd write this down in the rule book, I don't want anyone to ever refer to Nikki Haley's girly parts.
Wait, that made the Constitution? Is there an amendment process on this?
Wow. No, that
was an egregious offense.
I had several other words I was going to use. You should be happy I went that direction.
Yeah. Now I feel a little weird as I'm holding a puppet on my hand, a Donald Trump puppet, and I'm pointing with Donald Trump's nose to Sarah. But did you guys see the Tucker Carlson
good
interview?
I loved it.
You did?
Yeah.
You watched it?
Did you really? I watched it as well. I thought it was
really good. I thought they were both genuine. And
Tucker is very genuine.
and bold.
Yeah.
I mean, for when Chris Wallace came up and,
that was
and
good.
Trump said, I don't think that's a friend of yours. And Tucker said, no, he's not a friend. I mean, that's just honesty that you don't normally get.
Yeah.
And then for him to call him, what was it? He called him a bitchy little man. Wow. I found it,
but that's like
brash and bold.
Well,
and
I like
fun.
the part where Tucker said, I mean, why wouldn't they just kill you? And Donald Trump was like, don't.
Was there a tough moment at all for Trump in there? Did he get a tough question about any of the
It wasn't
wasn't that type of
really
interview.
hardball stuff.
Okay.
No.
I mean, again, I think they are aligned on most policy issues. I wouldn't expect it to be some hit job, but I was interested to see if he'd push him on something like, the
Fauci,
vaccine or the vaccine or something like that.
Yeah, that would have been interesting to see.
He pushed him, believe it or not, to get to that. Why aren't they going to put a bullet in your head? Question. He pushed him on Epstein.
Right, the Epstein.
That was really
weird. Did Trump say he?
No, Trump said he didn't believe it.
But Tucker absolutely said he was killed. He was murdered.
And Trump said he was not.
No, not necessarily. He said, "I don't know."
But I don't.
He kind of hedged.
So.
I think it could go either way.
I got the impression he didn't believe
think
it at all. Yeah, because he was like, I don't think so. I don't know. I just think it was a very sloppy situation.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
He also did talk about Bill Barr, on how Bill Barr was a coward. And he was afraid of impeachment, and that's why he just kowtowed to everybody else. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, it was
better than the debate, I think.
Really?
I think Trump was a winner last night.
I think that's a very fair piece of analysis because no one. The only
I liked
person
DeSantis. I liked Vivek. But
Vivek,
like cake, or according to my audience, like fake.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of pushback on the Vivek thing. It's he's very polarizing. Like I don't know why either love him or hate him.
Yeah,
which is interesting. I again, like we come from such a different experience here with Vivek. Like
we've known him long before he would. Yeah,
this audience knows him. He was on the show 10 times before he announced he ran for president. Probably talking about his books and everything else over the past 5 years. So like we know this guy. And I think like the American people who watched him were two different experiences. People like who were watching The Blaze and are informed on this guy and have heard him talk a million times. I think watched that and were like, not his best performance. I think he was like I think
it wasn't his best.
He had some of those back and forth.
I thought he killed it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I don't think anybody killed it. I thought
the
and
Blaze
DeSantis
audience
stood
poll,
above.
Good.
The Blaze audience poll had him at about 60% as the winner. And the next closest was DeSantis, like at 37.
Part of that, though, I think, was that he dominated the stage. I mean, they were all firing at him. He was going back, but some of those he even seemed to lose. Like I thought Chris Christie's "Hey, you're repeating Obama's lines" was actually a good slam on him. I mean, it was, "Hey, who's the skinny guy with the funny name?" Like, who's the skinny guy with the funny name? Like, kind of,
works with the puppet.
It does work with the puppet. Yeah. I thought that was a bad exchange. Some of the other stuff I thought he actually sort of lost. And while he was good and he made a big impact, I thought for people who knew him and like he was really good in Iowa. To the point of like he blew the room away. I mean, he owned the room when he was there. With this, I thought he was up and down. I've heard many people say to me, he felt a little like car salesman. I'm giving you a 1999 Acura. It was that type of thing, which I've never seen that from him before. I never felt that way before. On the other hand, for people who had no idea, the overwhelming majority of people who had not paid attention to him and had never seen him before, maybe never even heard of him before, I think they got the impression he was the front runner.
Yeah.
Everyone was attacking him. He came off, I think his awareness, he was taking a lot of people from 0 to 60 last night.
Yeah.
And that I think worked really well. I think he had the most impact in the debate last night, moving his position.
The only thing that he could have done better, I think, is when Christie was saying, "I've had enough of you. I've had it." Well, you've had enough cheeseburgers too,
yes,
but that doesn't stop you from stuffing more down your fat face.
Yeah, that's not really his style.
No,
that's not his style.
Right. We invest in a lot of things as we go through life. The gastric bypass was not a good investment for Chris. It didn't work. It just didn't work out.
Did he have one?
He had one, and he lost a ton of weight.
Wow.
And he's just put it all back on.
Wow, that's
boy.
sad.
It just didn't work out.
That's
boy. Sad. Sometimes
I better not tell you about my gastric bypass that I had.
Oh, wow.